Support for Shortstops is presented by the Caylum Trading Institute. Check out our website at www.cayluminstitute.com. On today's episode.
So, kamusta si Federer?
Ha? Federer, siya lang yung talagang taong, lalaking actually gusto ko halikan. Nung nakita talagang
Mabait pa siya? Mabait?
Sobra.
Call it what you want. A game, an experiment, a gamble. But stock trading in the global financial markets to us is a business. Every day you're surrounded by the noise. Buy, sell, hold, buy more. And we're going to quiet it down and filter out the best trading strategies, tips, and stock picks. You want information on how to find your next bagger or home run? You'll find it right here on Shortstops.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to podcast number 33. Today is something that we oftentimes as trader relate to, and it's about trading as an elite performance sport. And to help us see this correlation behind being a professional athlete and trading, we have two former recruitment program graduates today, now part of COL Financial's independent financial advisory group. He was ranked as number 70 in the world for international junior tennis and was a member of the Philippine national team for 6 years. He represented Santa Clara University and was honored as 2012 Male Athlete of the Year awardee, joining the likes of Steve Nash. Welcome, Mr. Kyle Dandan.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for having me.
You're so formal today. And our second guest speaker is someone who won 5 UAAP championship titles with the Ateneo Blue Eagles from 2008 to 2012. In June, he'll be suiting up for the Quezon City Capitals at the next conference of the Maharlika Philippines Basketball League. Welcome, Mr. Tonino Gonzaga.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Pareho kayo. So you guys joined us in Caylum. Obviously, Kyle, you joined us in Batch 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And Tonino, you joined us in
Batch 5.
Batch 5. Maybe you guys can describe first what's your background like. At what age did you guys start going into your own respective sports? And maybe you can share how you fell in love with basketball, how you fell in love with tennis.
So, I started playing tennis when I was 5.
5 years old?
Yeah, 5. And ano siya, voluntarily, kung I asked my dad, because he's a recreational tennis player lang. He played basketball also for FEU back in the day. So he transitioned to tennis because he got older, obviously, and the knees didn't really hold up. So one day, sabi ko, I just want to try to hit some balls, and I liked it. I also played golf, sabay siya actually. But for kids that young, you know, when you hit the ball and then you walk, you hit the ball and then you walk, it's boring. So I eventually let go of golf. So I took up tennis. So yeah, and then I started playing competitively at 8. Won my first tournament at 9, and then that's when I really just started to ramp up the training. I started playing my first international tournament. I played my first international tournament at 13, actually 12, and then till 18 years old na yung junior tennis.
So how long did you train professionally with the coaches and everything?
I think 3rd year, 4th year, I already became part of the Philippine Davis Cup team, which is the top 4 men's tennis players in the country. So I think I was at 16, 17, I was part of that. And then I had to let go of that position long because of college. I went to college in the States. But when I came back, I became part of that team again. So about 5-6 years, I would say, in total.
Great. Tonino, what's your journey like?
I didn't have parang hindi ganun ka-formal yung training ko nung bata ko. Laman lang ako ng court. Kumbaga, from 6 years old to around 12, I was just in our village court the whole day. But thankfully, I was able to make the team when I was in grade 6, and from there, buti na nag-growth spurt ako na maaga, so kinuha ko ng UAP juniors, tapos thankfully tuloy-tuloy na yung naging sa career ko. But I just really loved playing basketball talaga, and
First love nyo, basketball.
Yep, basketball.
And tennis.
Yep.
And maybe you can share to us what's a day like in both your respective sports.
There's a lot of preparation that goes into basketball. not only before games but months leading up to the season. So we have to make sure we're in good physical shape, and we also have to stay disciplined. Once I understood that it's a lifestyle, not just a hobby that I do for 2 hours every day, that's when everything started clicking. The discipline, the mental state, and eating right, of course.
And that's the thing, diba? Kasi like as fans of the game, like I'm a fan of UAP. Like as fans of the game, we only see kasi during the game. We only see what you guys put out when TVs are rolling, when the show is rolling, when the game is full lights on. But there's a lot of preparation that you guys do way before everything even begins, right? And like Kyle, is it the same case also in tennis?
Very, very similar. Just to walk you through the day of a tennis player, just for example lang, no, professional tennis player. When I was playing professionally, I would wake up between 5:30 to 6, do fitness.
How long would that be? Like, gaano katagal yan? Yung
Like the
5:30 training?
about an hour and a half. Off-court fitness yan, either
Yeah.
gym or cardio and all. And then about 2 to 3 hours of tennis in the morning, have lunch, freshen up, shower, and then tennis again, mga 2 to 3 hours in the afternoon, and then you recover after.
How many
So
days a
that's
week do you do that though?
6 times a week.
6 times a week?
The morning fitness is about 4 to 5 days a week.
Okay.
So there's
okay.
definitely a lot of preparation, like Tonino has mentioned, leading up to the matches, leading up to the tournament.
Hey, Tonino, you talked about mental focus, and I'm sure you guys, like as a team, since I don't know if it's the same also in tennis, but as a team, right? You guys like have to be all aligned. The coaches have to prepare you all from 1 to 15, all focused for the common goal, obviously, which is to win a championship.
First, we set our goals for the season, and as we move through the days, there are short-term goals and also mid-term goals that we want to accomplish. Like, for example, when the season starts, we want to be first or second in the end of round 1 or round 2 to put us in a good position to go to the championships once playoffs start. So to get those goals, we also have personal goals for ourselves, knowing our roles, what we have to do, and accepting them, which is harder even. Accepting our roles, no matter how huge or small they may seem to be, and accepting that they're all important in our common goal.
And it's funny you mentioned that because I'm sure there's a lot of egos, diba? So, syempre, as like everybody wants to be a superstar, diba?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it must be harder on your end to accept, for example, oh, you're a 6-man. Oh, there are some people pa nga who's probably not playing, but they know that they all have that contribution to come in every day to be 110% prepared to play that game, diba?
I think it started with a good culture that our coach back then, Coach Norman Black, and our captain Chris Chu in our first championship started. He was deferring a lot of the credit that was being thrown at him by all the media, and always gave us credit, the people who aren't normally noticed and who put in the hours same as him without all the accolades that he received. So that's true. You're right in saying that it's harder for other players to accept their role, because when someone more talented comes in and plays well, you can see all the sponsorships, and mahirap yun kasi lalo na pag hindi ka pinapalaro at all, tapos mas masipag ka pa sa naglalaro, kailangan may deeper sense of purpose ka para to go on.
I mean, what about you, Kyle? I mean, you're not really they might not look at it as a team sport because they only see one player on the court. But I'm sure like you have your team behind you. So you have multiple coaches, you have support trying to help you out all through your entire season or as a professional athlete. How important is that team in general? And like how often do you spend time with that?
It's very, very important. When I was playing, my team consisted of a head coach, a physical trainer, a nutritionist, and in my case, a sports psychologist, because the mental side of my game was always the one that needed more improvement or more tutok in that sense.
I'm gonna ask questions on that later, but
Yes.
go ahead.
But so you really need to have a full team, a very competent team, capable team who could actually take you to that next level. Because otherwise, tennis is an individual sport, unlike basketball. So you really need that support group with you all the time.
Yeah, you talked about a sports psychologist.
Yep.
What's that like? I mean, what are the questions that are being thrown to you? Or is he watching you play? Or is he just talking to you and trying to figure out what you're going through?
Yeah, sometimes he would watch me play and then assess, what my mental state was and all of that. And there was definitely a lot of visualization. I think in trading we also do that, diba? There's a lot of affirmation going on and a lot of mental exercises that we do. It really depends on the person, what the person needs. Because for example, ako, I'm naturally short-tempered. So yung mental exercises ko is catered towards that. Yung iba naman, I know they need to focus more. That's where they struggle, the focus. So ibang klaseng exercises naman yun. So for me, it's more of the temper, like anger management and trying to turn the negatives into positives,
Parang
basically.
hindi ka naman nagagalit I'm just surprised.
I try. Oh, I've improved a lot. I'm proud to say, but I when I was growing up and even in college, I had that issue.
As a trader and as an athlete, how dangerous is it para mapikon kayo?
Well, if you don't know how to handle it, I think it's dangerous, diba? But if you know how to, then you just gotta, I think, work hard and stay disciplined. Kasi parang quicksand nga yan eh. Pag napikon ka, right? And then hindi mo alam yung gagawin mo, lalo ka lang ma-frustrate, and then you just try to dig up that hole lalo ka lang, you'll sink more.
Pero may healthy part ng pikon eh, diba? Parang it shows your competitive spirit somehow. Maybe there's a fine line siguro.
There's a fine line, I think, between courage and stupidity.
Okay.
Right?
That's true.
Being very frank, diba? Kasi if you're pag pikon na pikon ka na, you need to know when to actually take a step back. It's very similar. It can apply to trading because if you take a step back, you'll see the bigger picture. And when you see the bigger picture, you'll be able to have a clear mind, a clear conscience, and a clear heart, so to speak, to able to analyze the situation. Only then can you actually find ways to solve the problem.
Well, of course it's dangerous, pero to add to what Kyle said, maybe if you don't have that competitive spirit to start with, you shouldn't be here. So, ako personally, pag napipikon ako, the best is if I channel it into what I need to do, because that gives me an extra push rather than siguro altogether ayoko na or magpapikon lang ako na kailangan makabawi ako. Siguro is to channel it in what I need to do. Tapos pag tapos na yung game, saka na ako babawi. Siguro, anong ginawa mo or something like that. Pero that's me before, as a player, ha.
Takot ako sa inyong mapikon eh.
Hindi.
Baka ako mabugbog dito eh. Sa trading nyo, napipikon ba kayo?
Mauna ka. Sumagot.
Siyempre. Siyempre, no.
Can't help it.
Can't help it. Tao lang eh.
I mean, the mental fortitude is so important when it comes to tennis. I mean, even basketball. Is that something that you can train? Is that something that you can build upon? Or is that like genetics, like what people say? Like naturally gifted lang talaga?
I think it's a combination of both. Of course, you have to be skilled to play at a certain level, but once you're at that level, what sets you apart is your composure, and what Kyle said a while ago was very, I think, can be applied to all competitive sports. Visualization of what could happen in the game, and once you've played it over and over again in your head, once you get to the game, it's second nature, or it's supposed to be if you're in the right mental state.
And I think experience also plays a very big role there. Because once you have enough experience, then you'll be able to figure out mentally what you need to do in certain situations. Right? So
Yeah,
aside from the knowledge, that experience also
Pag
comes in.
nakamintis ka na ng crucial, ganun.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Masakit yun.
Ganun,
So, hindi, iisipin mo na, paulit-ulit.
yeah.
That's
Trauma.
that's true. That's true. I mean, if you look at a trade kasi, people only see the profit and loss the day that you executed that trade, but a lot of people still fail to understand that the preparation to being able to execute that trade is like 10 times more important. At the same time, it's what you do after the trade, meaning like what you said, you replay why you missed that shot or why you missed that trade or why you made a mistake on that trade, right? You try to correct what you could have done better, and you do, I assume, a lot of film. Like you do a lot of review, trying to find out those small mistakes, right? Trying to get yourself better every single day, right? So there's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of similarities behind trading and being a high performance athlete. So how did you guys get exposed to the stock market?
In college kasi I took economics. So at Santa Clara we talked a lot about obviously in economics, diba? We talked a lot about the stock market, kumbaga how investors invest and all of that. So I wanted to become more in-depth. I wanted to learn more about the ideas behind investing and trading, the ideas behind the buying and the selling, the execution, yung mga ganon. So throughout the years of my classes, my economics classes, sabi ko parang I really wanted to learn more about trading. Alam ko kasi din, syempre money attracted me also. Pero obviously you need to have you need to have that process.
Yeah. Good training, good education.
Exactly.
You, Tonino?
Personally, this is not gonna reflect well on Ateneo, pero baka pwede edit yun. Pero ano bang pwede ko sabihin? Kasi I went to Ateneo, yung course ko Comtech Management, and it was kind of a management course for the people who didn't know what they wanted to get into. Pero at least management. Well, that's how I personally viewed it. Pero I'm sure yung mga Comtech na mga successful sa corporate career sila and businessmen. Pero ako personally hindi ko alam kung anong gusto kong gawin. Pero gusto ko management ako. So nag-Comtech ako. Yung surprisingly, yung mga nagustuhan ko sa class ko sa Ateneo, philosophy tsaka theology pa, yung mga kailangan mo mag-isip ng mga purpose, ng mga deeper meaning. Pero yung mga marketing, okay lang naman. Interested din ako, mga strategies, okay lang naman. Pero it wasn't until my friend Jason introduced me to, kasi he started working sa JP Morgan ba? Deutsche Bank? JP Morgan. Tapos bored siya doon, pero edit na lang natin yun. Pero bored siya doon Bored siya Tapos nagsi-CFA siya noon, and I couldn't see, parang grabe yung nito, dedication tsaka passion. Tapos once he came on board with you guys sa Call Financial or sa CitySec, parang yung mga stories niya about the stock market really captured me, like kung ano yung mga ginawa ni na Jeff Bezos with Amazon before. Wala pa akong alam sa stock market noon, pero kinikwento na ni Jason sa akin yun. So ako parang this is something I can be interested in. And parang at that time I was in a transition in my life as well, kasi I didn't know whether I wanted to pursue basketball or go into something else. Pero nothing else took my interest more than what Jason was telling me about the stock market, di ba? So I applied eventually sa Caylum, and rest is history na siguro.
So in short, magaling magbenta si Jason.
Magaling. Yung mga niya sabi, grabe yung ginawa ni Jeff Bezos. Ganun ba?
So how does your team or your coaches go up to you guys and know which aspect that needs to be built upon? or needs to be improved on?
Usually, they look through the stat sheet first, and once they have a picture of what went wrong in the game with the stats, they check the tape for what we can improve on as a team and as individuals. So, usually, pag pinapagalitan na kami, nandyan na yung tape. Tapos, ito ba't di mo ginawa to, ganyan. Or, kitang-kita na ito yung iniisip mo niyan, ganyan. Dapat, ito yung ginawa mo. Much like trading, you know, you cannot, if you're not prepared mentally, or if you did not do your homework, talagang pagdating ng game, mabubulagta ka talaga. Yun talaga yung feelings. Yun
Mumurahin ka ng coach mo.
Mumurahin pa. Oo.
Mumurahin ka ni Edmund.
Or matatalo ka ng malaki, di ba? So,
Kyle, is there such a thing also in your field?
Yes, but we relied heavily also on video and statistics of every match. You know, for example, I played Tonino. I played against Tonino today. May stats yan eh. First serve percentage, unforced errors made, and all of that. So, nire-review yon in addition to the video. So it's very, very similar also with basketball. But stats do play a big role in reviewing tennis matches, definitely.
I mean, especially from an international standpoint. I'm sure marami kang role models and idols in the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, watching them play right in front of you. And what did you bring home from that experience?
Well, when you're watching them live, it's completely different. You get starstruck, diba? It's just amazing when you watch these players like si Roger Federer. Roger Federer has been my idol since I was young. So
Did you play against him?
I just practiced with him.
Wow.
So yung first experience with him was I just practiced beside him. Parang my court was here and his court was there. But there was a time during the French Open that I had the opportunity to hit with him because he usually hits with junior tennis players and he likes to do that. I think that's his way of giving back. So I had that opportunity to practice with him for an hour, hit with him, and that was a surreal moment, definitely. And I learned a lot kasi he told me, okay, so at this current situation, this is what I usually think of doing. And then if, for example, we're playing points, diba? If I made a mistake, he would say, "Oh, you should have done this. This is what I should have done also, like what I would do also." So that way, I definitely learned a lot.
That must be some experience.
Yeah. That was definitely some experience. And then same with Djokovic. I got to practice with Djokovic also for about an hour.
What about you, Tonino? Who's your role model or idol?
growing up, I liked the Allen Iversons and T-Max, but
He doesn't practice it.
yeah. I like them for the flair,
moves.
the moves, the culture. But after having gone through a lot of experience, I like Manu Ginobili, especially because he's there during the big moments. He's well composed, and throughout his career he was consistent. Not in the numbers he puts up every game, but the intensity of how he plays and how he gives himself up for the team, no matter what position he's in.
You gave a rare pick, actually, because normally somebody would pick like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, right? Those like high-profile superstars. And you gave Manu Ginobili. And I'm surprised, and a lot of reasons that you gave were all intangibles of a champion, right? Accepting roles, giving your heart 110%. What does it take to like actually win a championship?
Personally, I think it was really just working hard, because I wasn't the most talented. I wasn't actually recruited by Ateneo. I was a walk-in.
Talaga?
I played well for high school. I won a championship, but I wasn't really recruited well. So I knew I had my work cut out for me, especially going up against all these superstars in high school. Tapos I think it was my hard work and not complaining about not getting playing time in my earlier stages that was a big role for me, especially because those players who were getting playing time could not complain about whatever they're getting, kasi they saw me working harder than them and I wasn't complaining. So when they saw that, siguro wala silang excuse but to work hard. And thankfully, I got my chance during the latter years to play a bigger role than I was playing in the first few years. So those type of things siguro day in, day out that you want to sacrifice yourself for a greater purpose, not knowing when the success will come personally. Siguro yun yung what it takes to become a champion. Siguro.
And sacrificing is not easy. You're taking all these short-term losses in retrospect, right? Instead of having these, and you're looking at the long-term gains on that aspect. What's going through your mind though during those times?
Well, I wouldn't say I didn't struggle personally. First few years, it was good for me because I knew how my teammates valued me. Pero on my third year, siguro I wanted to play na. Parang ako na yung pinakamasipag tapos nagpe-perform na ako. Parang muntik pa nga ako mag-quit nun eh. Sabi ko, hindi na to para sa akin kasi binibigay ko na lahat pero hindi pa dumadating eh. Kaso, an assistant coach told me, you have an opportunity here to say that you've won all championships in college. I'm not gonna tell you you're gonna play next year. I'm not gonna tell you that you're going to have the same fame that your teammates are experiencing. But I'm telling you that this is something that you can bring with you no matter what happens. The fame, the accolades, you won't be able to bring that. But the experience of doing something greater, you will. So that's what made me stay. And what the turning point for me was when I forgot that I was enjoying basketball. So when I remembered na enjoy ko to eh. Ayun, that's when it started clicking. Tapos thankfully, nung nagka-opportunity, I was able to take advantage of it naman. My defensive assignment siguro kasi my role was a defensive player primarily eh. So I was put in the game to stop a certain player from scoring. So through the years, that was Paul Lee, that was sina Vosotros, and eventually sina Romeo and R.R. Garcia. And
Puro PBA superstar eh.
so nung sina Paul Lee, talagang rookie pa ako noon. So I was really counting on my energy and they took advantage of that because they were really experienced players, no? And I replayed that in my head a lot. And siguro, I don't know if it's because I was older than sina Terence na at the time. I had the confidence and experience or maybe the drive to stop them. Well, I was able to focus on what I needed to. It was clear to me. Tapos, I knew that I wasn't playing as long as the others. So, I knew how to use my energy. I knew na, ito lang, kunyari, itong 10 minutes na to, todo. Kasi alam ko naman yung role ko na hanggang dito lang talaga yung gagawin ko. So, wala na ako kailangan ibang isipin kundi yung mga pinapagawa sa akin. So, I was able to stop them, thankfully, for the time that I was in there. And I was able to score a few buckets rin, which was, kumbaga, that's bonus na lang. Pero ito talaga yung kailangan kong gawin. Yung depensa.
What about you, Kyle? I mean, you had your fair share of experiences throughout your entire career. Maybe could you share us the low light?
Yeah, I had multiple slumps in my career. I think that's something that you really cannot avoid, no. But it's all about being tough. That mental preparation, being patient. I think is key when you're in that slump, and also having the discipline to keep going, diba? To keep being religious with your routine is one of the things that I really want to emphasize. Having that discipline to keep preparing even if you're not getting the results that you want, and being patient even if you're not getting the results that you want, because eventually you have to stick with the process.
Do you guys have a favorite quote that you bring to heart in every single game that you go through?
Ito, nag-a-apply to sa trading. Favorite quote yan. Oo nga. It's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives, but what we do consistently.
Saan mo ninakaw yan?
Bro, Tony Robbins yan. But it's true, right? In whatever you do, seriously speaking, diba? In whatever you do, whether you're a basketball player, tennis player, you're in business or you're in trading, it's what you do consistently is what matters. It's not yung parang one time, big time. It's not, life is not like that. May mga swerte, but what you do consistently really, yung preparation mo, yung routine mo, your constant reviews of your trades and all of that. That's what matters.
Hayop.
Ayun.
Tonino, what about you?
So, since mas team sport yung basketball, I guess my favorite quote is, "It is amazing what you can accomplish if you do not care who gets the credit." From Harry Truman. So, siguro sa trading, it's an individual thing as well, pero more of wala akong pakialam na kung may magawa akong wow, kumita ako ng 100% or ganyan in this period of time. It's more of gusto ko yung ginagawa ko tapos gagawin ko yung tama. Parang ganun siguro.
This has been an excellent podcast. I think we covered a lot in this podcast, from how both Tonino and Kyle were able to prepare. And I think it's so important that as professional athletes, the mental aspect probably is 90% of the entire game. And like in the form of trading, 90% of that mental preparation comes beforehand, even before that execution of that trade. Tonino, Kyle, thank you guys so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us. Thank you. No, thank you so much.
We appreciate it so much.